Richie Rich is the richest kid alive. But guess what he doesn't have? Friends. Not a single one. But when his parents go missing under shady circumstances, Richie teams up with a bunch of regular kids who teach him that friendship is worth way more than gold bars and butlers. Let's get into it. We start off with billionaire businessman Richard Rich celebrating the birth of his baby boy, Richie. He's so proud, he literally announces it like he just bought another Fortune 500 company. Herbert the butler, who's basically Alfred with better hair, is tasked with raising little Richie from day one. The guy is loyal, classy, and probably folds a fitted sheet better than anyone alive. Richard is always buried in business, but still finds time to be a good dad. Picture this. He's on the phone closing million-dollar deals while throwing a baseball back and forth with Richie. If multitasking was a sport, Richard would have 10 gold medals. Richie grows up obsessed with baseball, thanks to his dad, and gets really good at it, like MLB scouts would salivate good. Since Richie's basically a young prodigy, his dad starts giving him baby business responsibilities. First assignment: represent his dad at the reopening of United Tool Factory, which Mr. Rich bought to save a bunch of jobs. That's billionaire behavior right there. At the ceremony, Richie spots some kids playing baseball and looks like a lonely golden retriever wanting to join. He gives a polite speech, collects a thank you trophy for his dad, and tries to go hang out with the kids. But security head Ferguson swoops in like he's guarding the president, not a 12-year-old with a briefcase. Luckily, Herbert steps in like ease up, Rambo, and convinces Richie to get in the chopper. Meanwhile, Richard returns from a business trip, and his wife Regina casually surprises him with a massive mountain carving of their family. Just a normal Tuesday gift when you're ultra-rich. Richie tells his dad all about the factory reopening, but midway through the convo, Richard gets a call from the actual president of the United States. I mean, talk about being on everyone's speed dial. Richie heads off to chemistry class with Professor Keenbean, who looks like Doc Brown's cousin, and invents the weirdest stuff. His newest toy, a machine called a reorganizer? Then he shows off a glue so strong it could stick your ex to their new partner permanently, bulletproof fabric spray, and a robotic bee that pollinates better than real bees. Richie plays around with the robo-bee, pranks Herbert, and, of course, Herbert squashes it thinking it's a fly. That's a $2 million bug down the drain. Keenbean chases Richie around like Tom after Jerry. Later that night, a guest named Lawrence shows up. He's got the charm of a wet sock and the ambition of a Bond villain. Regina and Richie both dislike him, but Richard has to play nice, business stuff. Over dinner, Lawrence complains that Richard spends too much on charities. $1 billion down the donation drain, and Lawrence is ready to faint. Richard claps back by saying he bought the United Tool Factory just to help the workers, not make a profit. Lawrence suggests shutting it down, so Richard decides to do the exact opposite. Update the equipment and give the factory away for free. Boom, checkmate. Keenbean barges in to show off his latest gadget, the Smell Master, a nose-on-a-stick machine that identifies objects by scent. It immediately calls out Lawrence's drink as wine. Lawrence hates all these inventions and leaves in a huff, but not before Richard mentions something about a secret family vault. And just like that, Lawrence's evil brain starts brewing ideas. Next morning, Richie fires up his high-tech GPS tracker called the Dad Link. This thing can track his father anywhere in the world, like Find My iPhone, but for millionaires. Richie interrupts Richard's meeting at the White House to complain about a pimple. Yes, while the president is discussing global policy, Richie wants skincare tips. At school, Richie studies stock markets and balance sheets while wearing a suit that costs more than your rent. He tries to hang out with his two best friends, Reynolds and Ellsworth, but they're busy doing rich kid stuff, probably investing in cryptocurrency or buying islands. Later, Richie sneaks off to the tool factory again and asks the neighborhood kids to play baseball. They laugh him off, calling him a pampered puff who probably can't hit a beach ball. Richie bets money on it. First swing, total flop, but on the second try, Gloria pitches, and Richie slams the ball through a window. Boom, street cred earned. The kids still brush him off, but at least now they respect the swing. Back at home, Regina sees that Richie's bummed about not making friends. So Herbert suggests Richie skip the family's upcoming England trip to chill with him. Regina's like, brilliant idea, Jeeves. As Richard, Regina, and the staff board the plane, Security Chief Ferguson sneakily plants a red box during inspection. Regina notices they're gifting the Smell Master to the Queen, which is weird, but Richard shrugs it off like, hey, she'll love it. Meanwhile, Herbert invites Gloria Gloria and the kids to visit Richie at the mansion. They roll up and are blown away by Richie's personal McDonald's. Yes, that's real. Roller coaster, quad bikes, and a machine called the catapult that literally launches them across the estate. The rich life is basically a theme park. Elsewhere, Lawrence is in Richard's office, convinced the plane won't come back. And guess what? He's almost right, midair. Richard grabs the smell master to sniff out his secret chocolate stash, only to find it's picked up a bomb in one of the gifts. They throw it out just before it explodes, damaging the plane. Boom, crash landing. Back home, Richie finds out his parents' plane went down. He checks the dad link, but there's no signal. Meanwhile, Lawrence celebrates and learns Richie wasn't on the plane. Uh-oh, he's the sole heir. Now Lawrence wants to eliminate Richie too. Richard and Regina, though, are alive, just floating on a raft, MacGyvering a phone out of hair trimmers and earrings. Lawrence becomes temporary CEO and tries to shut down the tool factory. Gloria calls Richie, who promises to fix it. Richie storms into the boardroom like a mini Steve Jobs and says he's taking over. Lawrence laughs until Herbert, now Richie's legal guardian, backs him up. Boom, Richie's the boss now. Richie reopens the factory and wins over the workers. Gloria and the crew show up to thank him, and Richie appoints them as his new R&D team. Lawrence, feeling like an extra in his own company, tells Ferguson to plant bombs in Herbert's room and frame him. Herbert gets arrested and Lawrence becomes Richie's new guardian. He fires all the staff, turns the mansion into a prison, and installs surveillance cameras everywhere. Keenbean, listening in with one of his gadgets, learns everything. He tells Richie and gives him an acid toothpaste to bust Herbert out. Richie sneaks into jail pretending to be a normal kid delivering toiletries. Herbert gets the note and melts the bars, but first, he gets attacked by a prison assassin. Yes, Lawrence sent a jail ninja. Herbert fights off the guy, escapes, and reunites with Richie. Together they realize Richard and Regina are alive, but Lawrence's goons catch on. Richie uses Gloria's computer to hack the dad link. Meanwhile, Richard and Regina finally get the signal working. Richie finds out his parents are in the mansion, kidnapped. He gathers the squad, catapults manure at the guards, and infiltrates the house. They find Keenbean tied up and stage a full Mission Impossible-style rescue with bubbles, broken cameras, and distractions. Richie finds his parents, but so does Lawrence. Things get ugly. Lawrence demands the vault location. Richard sings the password with Regina. Yes, they sing it open. And inside the vault, no cash, just trophies, old photos, and sentimental junk. Richard explains that real wealth is family, not numbers in a bank. Lawrence tries to shoot Richie, but the bulletproof spray saves him. Big fight breaks out. Herbert takes down Ferguson with a laser gun and blasts Lawrence, who ends up hanging upside down like a human chandelier. Richard finally fires someone for the first time ever. Regina seals the deal with a solid punch to Lawrence's face. In the end, Richie's got everything: freedom, friendship, and a home run with his friends in the backyard. Meanwhile, Lawrence and Ferguson are doing community service, picking up trash on the same estate they tried to take over. And Richie, he finally gets what all the money in the world couldn't buy: real friends and real memories. That's the real treasure. Don't forget to comment your favorite part, and hit that like and subscribe button for more epic movie recaps.